Hello and welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, and in this episode today we are going to talk about BeaconDB and Stumblefish. So BeaconDB is an open and free location database. So what are we talking about here? We are talking about something that will help different kinds of navigation systems and smartphones and so on and so forth to find the location of the user of the smartphone or whatever it is in a much faster way. So in general, as you all know, a smartphone, for instance, or a navigation system in your car or whatever, uses the GPS tracking in the end. So satellites which are going to be connected to your smartphone, or the smartphone connects to the satellite and asks the satellite where it is at the moment. And with a couple of them, you can then triangulate where the smartphone is, and like that, the smartphone knows, okay, I am at the moment in the street XY in some kind of a country, a state or whatever. Okay, so the position is very clear to it. The problem is that GPS is pretty slow if you restart it or start it from the start, get on. Okay. So in the end, if for instance you are using not an Android smartphone or an iOS smartphone, because those are always connected, so don't be fooled by the action menu or whatever where you can deactivate GPS or whatever. No, you're not deactivating GPS. You're deactivating the access of any kind of third-party app on the smartphone to your current location, but the information where you are is always there on Android smartphones and on other smartphones like that. And the system itself can access that anyway. In Linux-based smartphones, where there is data protection in any kind of way enabled, in general that is not the case. So on Linux phones, it takes a long time to get a connection to any kind of a satellite. So if you running around and you need your GPS at some kind of moment, or your navigation system at some kind of moment, and you are angry about that it takes so long to get the fetch, that's the reason. Sailfish OS and others Linux-based smartphone systems, and maybe some others, I'm not sure, but normal Android and iOS phones don't respect your privacy there. Are just respecting your privacy, and like that it takes longer. But the good thing is we can create a much faster setup there with something like BeaconDB. BeaconDB and the former known MLS, which was the Mozilla Location service, are both databases in which there are different kinds of positions of Wi-Fi networks, for instance, in there. So, for instance, a user has a certain kind of position, and he will more or less be at that point, and he sees, for instance, with his smartphone or whatever he is using, different kinds of Wi-Fi networks around him. And then this data set of which kind of Wi-Fi setups are around him will be saved into a database, and like that you can more or less, with a lot of those points, get a much faster setup, because you now just have to check for Wi-Fi networks, for instance, which have an identifiable ID. So even if you don't share your name or whatever with the outside, still the Wi-Fi has an identifiable ID and can be seen, okay? And like that, in the end, you can really connect in a very fast way to this kind of Wi-Fi networks, or get the informations more or less, and like that see where you are, approximately, okay? We are not talking about a very precise thing that is happening there, but approximately that will give you the location of the current smartphone. And in combination with GPS tracking, with Bluetooth tracking, for instance, that's another thing, because Bluetooth devices around you will do the same as, for instance, the Wi-Fi do. And more importantly, maybe the cellular network. So for instance, if you connect to an LTE or 4G or 5G network, whatever you want to call that, then you are sending out information that you are at a certain point of position, because in the end there are a couple of different let's say beacons, whatever it is, and these beacons will, with a triangulating, I think that's the English word, method or algorithm see where you are at the moment, otherwise you couldn't connect with them and couldn't be serviced. And that is more or less what we are talking about in this database, what is saved there. So, as mentioned before, on Android devices or on iOS devices, you don't have a choice. These kind of data will be collected, and it's very hard to get rid of that. I'm not sure if there is a setting nowadays. A couple of years ago, when I used my last Android phone, there was no option to really get rid of that. And in the end today, maybe there is one, but it's probably not activated by default, because they are trying to collect exactly these kind of data, which is tracking you and giving others the opportunity to be faster with their location lock-on, more or less. On Sailfish OS, as mentioned before, that is not on by default, but if you want to contribute to that, you can use Stumblefish. So in the end, Stumblefish is a small little app which just collects the data around you like anything else for the BeaconDB for a certain kind of format that it needs, and then it's going to show you what it collected, and you can decide if you really want to send it out or not. So in the end, first off, you don't have to install this app if you don't want to contribute, and if you want to contribute, you can really say, okay, now I want to send everything, and otherwise you can delete it, of course, and get rid of it if you don't want to send it and stuff like that. So it's your choice again, not the choice of Google, Alphabet, Samsung, whoever is going to do that. Apple is the same way, okay? And yeah, just to show you what BeaconDB is, it's as mentioned before, an open project. As you can see, everybody can see what's going on. It's a public domain wireless geolocation database. So everything that is wireless, meaning we have Bluetooth networks, we have Bluetooth beacons, and we have the cellular network towers in 219 countries at the moment, okay? If you are, for instance, in Europe, it's pretty sure that you get information from this, and you can, in the end, profit of this technology. Japan is very crowded, and the Northern American parts are pretty crowded too. So in the end, if you are in those countries, it's really helpful to activate that if you want to. Just to let you know, you can use this database and this data without providing any kind of data to the database. So in the end, if you really just want to, okay, that was not exactly right, it's the same as if you would open up a browser and surf to a website, okay? But in the end, something like location data from you or something like that is not automatically transferred if you activate this service. I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment on Sailfish OS, of course. And as you can see, we have a lot of them, 150 million networks on the whole world are more or less in this database, and we have around about 5.5 billion Bluetooth beacons, and we have round about 5 million towers, cellular towers, which are going to be there and help with connecting you to your telephone provider or whatever you are using there. Okay, as mentioned before, open, free and available, but there is of course no data in here which is personalized to yourself or something, okay? We are just talking about a Wi-Fi network that is at a certain position, and they more or less determine where this Wi-Fi network is and save it into this. Okay, let's go and have a look on our smartphone how to activate first off the usage of this BeaconDB. Just to let you know, this feature is only available starting from Sailfish OS 5.1 on, because before that was the Mozilla Location service that was used, but the Mozilla Location service had to shut down because of a lawsuit, some kind of, I call them scammer, but whatever. Decide by yourself what that would be. In the end, he had a patent more or less, and he did a lawsuit against Mozilla, and Mozilla couldn't go on with this open and free service there. So BeaconDB was created to more or less take that over and do it in another way to do more or less the same for you on your smartphone. So before 5.1 it was MLS which was used, but that one is no longer available, or at least very outdated in the end at the moment. because I think the last informations were from 2023 or something, I don't know. And BeaconDB is a new provider which is in 5.1 for any kind of Sailfish OS smartphone you are using. Okay, so let's have a look. First off, I'm going to log in and I'm just going to show you how to use this for yourself and not contributing to it, okay? So first off, we are going to go to the settings menu in the end. And if you go in here, then you just scroll down a little and somewhere you will find, in German it's Standort, and in, for instance, any kind of other language, English or whatever, it would be the position you are in at the moment, okay? And if you click on that, then you can see a couple of different information. There's this information if you really want to have GPS or the tracking activated for this kind of thing, okay, perfect. Tracking in the kind of that the data is available for any kind of apps on your smartphone, which have the proper access limitations and stuff like that, of course, and not in a case of it's sent anywhere or something, okay? Other than that, as you can see, there are a couple of different options here to go on. If you have the first one activated, that one will do the exact and very precise scanning with all the different informations we can gather from different kinds of sources, okay? So GPS, in this case, the BeaconDB should be in there too, and even some kind of other online services can be used for that. If you don't want that, you can use one of the other ones. For instance, the device exclusive mode in this case would only use GPS and no kind of online sources, so the BeaconDB or whatever wouldn't be on by that. If you're using that, this one is local in the end, okay? Locally in the sense that it's of course connecting to a satellite to get the information from, but in the end no data is sent out from your smartphone itself. And yeah, other than that, you can, for instance, go to the individual settings here. I'm just going to show you what's going on there, and I'm just going to click on these individual parts. And as you can see, you can have the GPS part on, which is fine. You can use this AGPS. This means more or less that online services or whatever, like BeaconDB or whatever, can be used if you want to have that, activate that. And online position by those BeaconDB informations are down below here too, and you can use that too. These are not BeaconDB, it's some kind of another service, as I figured. I think it's that way. Otherwise, if it's not so, just click on the button here too, and you will see if it's working for you in a better way or not. Anyway, here's this BeaconDB part, so make sure that you have this activated if you want to use it. And again, this will not collect data from you and send it to BeaconDB or something. It's just going to get data from BeaconDB to make your log on for the location you are in faster, okay? So, secondary, if you want to contribute to BeaconDB because you just have not enough other people around you which are contributing, or you just want to give more information, which is a great thing, so maybe you want to do that, then you can use Stumblefish. As you can see, I already installed it, but I'm going to show you where you can get it from. It's available, I think, on OpenRepos and on Shum. I got it from Shum GUI. You can go to OpenRepos in the same way as always, of course, too. I'm just going to show it in the Shum GUI in the end for you to get and how to get that. It's pretty easy, pretty common. You just go to the applications here. If you go in there, you just go up here and you put in the name of the app. So of course fish is in it as always, and I just I hope I write it wrong, right, yeah, Stumblefish, there we are. As you can see, here it is, and it's an opt-in one, so nothing is collected. Even if you install the app, it's not connected by default or something. You will have to set up what you want to connect and collect and get there out. And as you can see, this one will help with that and send it to the BeaconDB one by default. You could send it to another service if you want to, but we want to contribute to BeaconDB in this case and use it like that. Yeah, down below here are a couple of images, of course, and if you don't want to download it, As always, just go to the upper menu there, and in here you will find a point which is called install. If you click on that, it's going to install the app, and you should be fine to go. The app will of course then appear down below at the lowest point. As you can see, we have Stumblefish at this point and can activate it. So just to show you something, I have something prepared in the Stumblefish app. As you can see, we have 133 reports pending at the moment. That goes up a lot, but it depends if you are moving around, okay? So if you move around, you are going to get some kind of a new one. Sometimes it's not extremely precise, because if you are, for instance, like I am at the moment, of course, in my flat, then I will not see, I'm not moving, and still the GPS or whatever is tracking me at the moment will maybe not get that I'm not moving, because there is signal differences and stuff like that going on, which will feel like I would be moving, but I'm not, okay? So in the end, I click on that, and as you already can see here, we have a fix of my position. I'm going to blur this, of course, so you will not see this, sorry for that. But as you can see, you can already have gathering reports in the status there, and we have of course the different kinds of informations I am in and how he is connecting all the data at the moment. So as you can see, location is enabled, meaning GPS is on. We have the cell data, of course, and we have a position fix by, in the end, GNSS, as you can see, backed by 7 satellites. At the moment I'm in my room, so that's a pretty good number, I would say. In general, you want a couple more, and you can see it changing a little bit from time to time, because they are connecting or disconnecting from me, and that's normal what is happening there. Down below you can see which kind of data you want to collect. So for instance, if you click Wi-Fi, cell or BLE, so for instance I can just click on this, and as you can see now this is no longer selected, so it's not going to collect these kinds of data. And if you want to collect that again, just click on the data and it will be collected again. And here you can see we have reports pending at the moment, and like that you can go to view reports, click on that and have a look at the reports. I'm going to do that, and I'm very much not moving around much, but as you can see we have these kinds of parts where he's telling me, hey, you have 5 Wi-Fi's, 6 cells, and so on, and it's really a little bit different from time to time, and all the time when it's different because the Wi-Fi is too low in quality or whatever, at my point here, signal quality, then it's going to create a new report. I'm not going to click on that, but if you click on that, or should I? Maybe I'm going to click on that. I can of course blur it if I need to, so let's do that. You can see here the position, of course, where I am, how the accuracy is, so how precise is the position we got there. You can see which kind of Wi-Fi's are connected and stuff like that. I, as mentioned before, will of course get rid of this. Down below you can already see cell towers which are there, so in the end you would see a couple of different cell towers in the LTE neighborhood in this case, which are collected and will be shown down below. But again, I'm not going to show this because this would really tell you where I am at the moment, and I don't want that. Okay, so let's go back here. And if you are ready, you can even click on View Map. I'm going to do that too, and I will have to, of course, get rid of that again. But as you already can see here, I can scroll in a little bit. There we go. And you can see I have those 2 beacon points here in my map. And those 2 are more or less the ones collected in my direct neighborhood. Okay, so this is me, of course. I got these 2 cells more or less, and I moved around a little bit so he could collect more data and like that bring it to this open data map there. Of course, I'm going to really get rid of most of the information in this map, so you can't really see anything about that. Sorry about that, but you can see it by yourself if you really want to contribute and have a look at that, okay? So let's go back, and let's go back again. This is more or less what you can see in this app. If you are ready, you can go up here and you can go and select Upload Pending, and that will of course add the information to the DB database. And yeah, why should you do that? In the end, you're uploading your own data. So even if you, in let's say 2 weeks, you don't get a fast GPS location application log or something, then you can use this data from the DB, which you just uploaded it then, and you can use that to get more information and be faster with your log on. And that's more or less what you wanted here, right? Yeah. And this is more or less all I can tell you about this app and this service. It's a really great one. It's nice if you want to contribute to it. You don't have to. And of course, it's not a must in any kind of way, but it will help you to get a much faster fix in future. So if you're struggling with stuff like that, maybe you like to, don't know, walk around a little bit in your neighborhood or whatever, put in informations about that and give it there. And again, it's totally free. It's you can do that. You don't have to. You are not sending personal information up there, so nothing that can really identify you in any kind of way in general. Have a look at the information about the Stumblefish app or about BeaconDB. They are going to tell you what's going on there, but it's an open and free software system, and of course a DB that is open and freely available, and there are no data which is more or less in any kind of way problematic in there. Just have a look again if you don't believe it, and if you don't want to use it, don't use it, but I highly recommend you to use it at least for yourself to get a faster fix, okay? Other than that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, have a great time, have a great day. If you want to give the video a thumbs up, I would be grateful, of course. If you want to subscribe to the channel, please do that now. And if you have any kind of questions, comments, or just want to talk about anything, put it down below into the commentary section. I highly like to talk with you. Other than that, see you around, and till the next episode, bye. Bye!